Okay, so today we discuss. So quickly recall what we discussed in the last two class. So we define the rank of the matrix. Okay, so how we define the rank of the matrix is that number of vectors present, or suppose A is any m by n matrix. Okay, is a matrix. Then given any matrix, we have a two matrix. So one is echelon row echelon form, and then a reduced row echelon form of a matrix. Okay, so usually we write these two different matrices. So given matrix, we can have two matrix. One is a reduced row echelon form, reduced row echelon form. So now we define what is the rank. For time being, we define rank of A is the number of non-zero rows in the reduced row echelon form. Number of non-zero rows in the row echelon form of A, that is in the RREF of A. Okay. So we define this rank of A. And otherwise, we can define the number of linearly independent rows of A. So better take this definition. Rank of A is the number of non-zero rows in the RREF. So first of all, given any matrix, try to reduce into RREF, and then we will state the number of non-zero rows, the rank. Okay. Now, and then given any A, we can talk about the null space of A. We define null space, n of A, we define is, so it's nothing but solution of the homogeneous equation. Okay, so for example, suppose if we take A is a m by n matrix, so we consider the solution of the system Ax equal to 0. So since A is a m by n matrix, therefore X should be in Rn. So it's collection of all X in Rn such that Ax equal to 0. So this space is called solution space of this Ax equal to 0, or sometimes called the null space. Null space of the matrix A. So null space of A is nothing but the solution of the homogeneous equation Ax equal to 0. And this form a vector space. Anyway, we will discuss vector space later. Now we define this is the null space. Now we define the nullity, sometimes called actually nullity. So nullity of the matrix A is defined to be the number of vectors present in null space. Number of vectors present in the null space of A. Null space of A, we define nullity, or sometimes called a dimension. Dimension and all we will discuss after we define the vector space. Okay, so and then using this rank and nullity of a matrix, we have an important theorem, that rank nullity theorem. So what the rank nullity theorem says, rank nullity theorem. We have any matrix, even it's a rectangular matrix. Suppose if, so this null space and then rank we can define for arbitrary order, not a square matrix. We can define this rank and nullity for any rectangular matrix. Therefore, if A is any, if A be a, or let A be any matrix, let A be any m by n matrix, let A be any m by n matrix. So matrix means all the entries are assume that now real entries. Okay, so let A be a m by n matrix. Then the rank of A plus nullity of A should be the number of columns. That is rank of A plus nullity of A should be equal to the number of columns. Number of columns of the matrix is nothing but M. So once you know rank, we can easily find the nullity. If you know nullity, we can easily find the rank. So this result is very useful to find the rank or nullity of a matrix. So now maybe quickly we discuss one problem. Suppose matrix is given and then we have to find the nullity. Okay, so problem or exercise we take. Suppose let A be the matrix is of the form. The first entry is 1 1 1. The second row is 3 minus 1 1. The last row is 1 5 3. So this is a matrix. This is a 3 by 3 matrix. Now what is the nullity? So question is the nullity. What is the dimension of the null space or nullity of A? So find the nullity. So first we have to find the rank nullity of A. Find the nullity of A. So what is the rank of this matrix? So how to find the rank? So better we have to reduce this matrix into row reduced echelon form. Therefore the given matrix is 1 1 1 3 minus 1 1 1 5 3. So the first non-zero entry is 1. Therefore we have to make these two entries as 0. We have to make 3 is 0, 1 is 0. Okay, so therefore what we have to do, you have to keep the first position now, first row. Now subtract the last row. I can just direct subtract r3 minus r1, we get 0, and this is 4 and this is 2. Now this is I am writing r2 minus r1. Otherwise multiply first row by 3 and then subtract to the second row. Therefore we get 0 here. Multiply the first row by 3, and therefore what is the here? 3 into 1 3 minus minus 4, and the first row is 3 minus 1 is 2. We get this one. Okay, therefore now we can reduce this. We can subtract the last row is nothing but subtraction of second and third. So we keep the second row, but the third row is subtraction of this. So unmute yourself.
Sir, you are also muted, sir.
Sorry, so please, Prasanna, please unmute yourself. So, that's it. Okay. Yeah. So, if you do this, we'll get this one, this matrix. Now we have to make this entry 0. Okay. So therefore, what you'll get? You have to subtract first equation by first row by second row. Therefore, this is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 by 2 is 1 by 2. And then you have to keep the second row. And then third row is always 0 0. So therefore, the number of non-zero rows, this is a row rectangular echelon form. So finally we stop here. Now because each row, if you can scan this, you get the first non-zero in this one, and then the corresponding columns are 0. And then look at scan the second row, we find the first non-zero entry and it should be 1, and the above the entry and then below the entry 0. Therefore, this is a row reduced echelon form, and therefore the rank is 2. The rank of the matrix is 2 because the number of non-zero rows in the row echelon form, this is 2. Therefore, by rank nullity theorem, nullity of A is 1 because it's a 3 by 3 matrix. The column is 3, number of columns. Therefore, the nullity of A is 1 because rank plus nullity should be 3. Since rank is 2, therefore nullity should be 1. Okay, so this is very important. And there is some formula for finding rank of AB. So you know rank of A and then rank of B. There are some properties are there. So maybe I stated here. So what is the rank of A plus B? What is rank of A? All the things. So first I define. So suppose if A is a rectangular matrix, M by N matrix, any N by N matrix, then rank should be less than or equal to minimum of these two numbers. It's always less than or equal to minimum of m comma n. Okay. So it will not above any two value. Okay. So first you find the minimum of these two number. The rank should be less than or equal to that number. This is the first one. And if we take a 2 matrix, rank of A plus B. Suppose A is a matrix, any matrix, square matrix or rectangle matrix, but both the matrix should be same order. Otherwise, the sum is not defined, right? So the rank of A plus B is less than or equal to rank of A plus rank of B. So you can prove this using linear transformation, all the thing. Now, time being, assume that the result rank of A plus B less than or equal to rank of A plus rank of B. And what is the rank of the product? Suppose for defining product, the order of the two matrices need not be same, can be anything, but the column of the first matrix should be a row of the second matrix. That is, if A is some m by n matrix and B should be n by anything, maybe we call some P matrix, then we can define rank. We can define the product. So then the rank of the product AB, okay, so this is less than or equal to, again, minimum of rank of A comma rank of B this upper bound is minimum of rank of A comma rank of B, but the lower bound is, here we can write rank of A plus rank of B minus the common term. What is the common term? We cancel this n, right? So because we define product only when the number of columns of A equal to number of rows of A, we have to write minus n. So actually we call this formula is Sylvester law. So if we give any matrix A and B, the rank of A, the upper bound is minimum of A, rank of A comma rank of B. The lower bound is rank of A plus rank of B minus n. It's very, very important formula. So therefore, we can take the special type is, if you take any matrix, the product is defined, then rank of AB less than or equal to minimum of rank of A. That is only I take the upper bound, rank of B, provided the product AB is defined. Okay. Suppose both are n by n matrix, the same result is true. Anyway, this is true for any matrix, but carefully we have to subtract the number is the common number, both matrix A and B. So the common number is n. Okay, that is the number of columns, or take the number of rows, provided AB is defined. Okay, so this is very, very important result. Maybe I will ask some question. Suppose A is a 7 by 7 matrix. So example, it is asked already previous year question paper. So you can see. So suppose A is a 7 by 7 matrix. 7 by 7 matrix. And we know that it is given that the nullity of the matrix is 2. Then what is the rank of A square, not A? So clearly we can say what is the rank of A?
5, sir.
Yeah. So now what is the rank of A square? Now use the formula rank of AB, but here A equal to B. So therefore, what you'll get? So therefore, rank of A square, here A equal to B, therefore A into A square you get. So upper bound is minimum of rank of A. I just write R of A. R of A means rank of A, okay? So R of B here nothing but A. So rank of A comma rank of A minimum is rank of A. Anyway, So, and then the lower bound is R of A, that is rank of A, plus rank of B, but B is nothing but again A, minus the common term, but it's a square matrix, therefore common is 7, right? Now we know that by rank nullity theorem, nullity is 2, therefore rank should be 5. Therefore, this is less than or equal to, here now we can write the lower bound. So rank of A square should be less than or equal to, what is the minimum of 5 comma 5 is 5. And then here substitute the value, rank of A is 5 plus rank of A is 5 minus 7. Correct? Therefore, actually question is what is the minimum value? What is at least, what is the question is the minimum value of rank of A. The minimum value. Question is the minimum value of rank of A square. Therefore, what you'll get 10 minus 7 is 3. 3 less than or equal to rank of A square less than or equal to 5. Therefore, the minimum of rank of A square should be 3. So that is the answer. Answer is 3. So minimum the rank of A square should be 3. Therefore, this formula is very important. Okay, rank of A plus rank of B minus rank of N, minus N less than or equal to rank of AB is less than or equal to minimum of rank of A comma rank of B. Okay. So once they given rank of one matrix, they will ask the rank of other matrix. Okay. So any doubt in this? So now we define what is rank and nullity and all. Okay. Okay. So maybe we will discuss more problem once we define what is linear transformation, all the things. Okay, now actually we are going to introduce the eigenvalues, eigenvector, and one more things. Okay, now define what is the characteristic polynomial. So hereafter we take a matrix is a square matrix. Okay. So hereafter we are going to assume that a matrix is square matrix. So we are going to define what is the characteristic polynomial of a matrix. Okay. So any doubt? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Characteristic polynomial. So I can write here characteristic polynomial. Of a matrix. So if a matrix is given, we can associate a polynomial. That polynomial is called characteristic polynomial. Okay, so what is that? Suppose A is a square matrix. We call, suppose take A is an n by n matrix. So the polynomial of x, suppose we take P of x is a polynomial in x. So I am defining is nothing but determinant of the matrix A minus x times identity matrix. So determinant of A minus xi, we define P of x. So this P of x is called characteristic polynomial. It's called the characteristic polynomial. So every square matrix we can associate a polynomial P of x. That polynomial is called characteristic polynomial. So what is this? I is nothing but identity matrix. So that means the diagonal entries are 1, 1, 1. Suppose you are multiplying x means what? The diagonal entries are x, x. We have to subtract the given matrix A and then take the determinant of the resulting matrix. You get the polynomial. For example, if you take some matrix example, better we take 3 by 3 matrix. First we take 2 by 2 matrix. Suppose if we take A equal to some number 2, 1, 3, 4, like this. So this is a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay. Now, what is A minus xi? So I is nothing but identity matrix, 2 by 2 identity matrix. We can take 1 0 0 1. Now what is xi? We have to multiply x to the each term of the matrix. We get x 0 0 x. Okay. Now what is a minus xi is that we have to subtract term by term. A is 2 here. What is the term of xi is x, therefore 2 minus x. This entry is 2 minus x. And here 1 minus 0, therefore 1. This entry is 3 minus 0 is 3. And this entry is 4 minus x. This is a matrix A minus xi. Now what is the determinant of A minus xi? Just cross multiply and then subtract. So that is 2 minus x into 4 minus x minus 1 into 3 is 3. Now simplify this. You are just a product. 2 into 4 is 8. 2 into minus x is minus 2x. And then minus x into minus 4 minus 4x. X into x, x square plus x square minus 3. Now you can add in the decreasing order x square 2x 4x minus 6x. And this is plus 8 and then this is 3, therefore we get plus 5. So this is a polynomial. This polynomial is called characteristic polynomial of the given matrix A. And look at this, what is the determinant of this matrix actually? So what is the determinant of A? Again 4 into 2 is 8 minus 1 into 3 is nothing but 5. Okay. What is about trace? Trace of the matrix is sum of the diagonals is 2 plus
6.
4 is 6. Now look at the polynomial here. Here we get 6 and here we get 5. Therefore we can rewrite in any 2 by 2 matrices. Therefore we can write this general statement. Okay. So if we take any 2 by 2 matrix, we can directly say what is the characteristic polynomial. So if A is any 2 by 2 matrix, A is a 2 by 2 matrix, then the characteristic polynomial is the characteristic polynomial of that matrix. Polynomial is, it should be monic polynomial, therefore the leading term should be 1, therefore x square should be second degree polynomial minus trace of A into x plus determinant of A, we call P of x something. If you take any 2 by 2 matrix, the characteristic polynomial is of the form x square minus trace of A into x plus determinant, alternative plus and minus. So start with the plus, that is x square is plus, next term is minus, next term is plus. So alternative plus and minus, and then the coefficient of x is determinant, trace, and then the constant term is determinant of the matrix. This is only for 2 by 2 matrix. So for example, if you take any 2 by 2 matrix, suppose I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our matrix. We call some B. What is the characteristic polynomial of B? We call some other name Q of x. What is the characteristic polynomial? X square minus, what is the trace? 1 plus 4 is 5 times x, and then plus, what is the determinant? 4 minus 6 is minus 2. Therefore minus plus we get minus, therefore x square minus 5x minus 2. So this is a characteristic polynomial of the matrix B. Okay. So if we take 3 by 3 matrix, so this is the idea. So therefore the characteristic polynomial is nothing but determinant of A minus xi. Okay. And then if A is an n by n matrix, the degree of P of x should be order of the matrix. Okay, so n by n matrix means the degree should be n. So therefore the degree of P of x is n. The n by n matrix means the degree is n, and should be monic polynomial. Okay, monic means the leading term, the leading coefficient should be 1. Okay. Now, how a characteristic polynomial of a 3 by 3 matrix look like? So this is a characteristic polynomial for any 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, this is a characteristic polynomial of any 2 by 2 matrix. Now, what is the characteristic polynomial of any 3 by 3 matrix? So suppose if A is a 3 by 3 matrix, 3 by 3 matrix, then the characteristic polynomial is, and the characteristic polynomial of A is, again same thing, we call some P of x or some name, P of x equal to, we start with the x cube because it's 3 by 3 matrix minus something into x square, right? So that is nothing but trace again. So trace of A into x square, and then we have to put plus into something into x, and then minus the constant term should be determinant of the matrix always. Now in this case, this entry should be trace of adjoint of A. So this should be trace of the adjoint of the matrix A. You can find the adjoint of matrix and then take the trace. That is the coefficient of x. Or maybe in general I can write, so this is nothing but x cube minus some constant, some lambda 1 x square plus lambda 2 x minus lambda 3. Okay, where what is this lambda 1 is nothing but trace of the matrix. Okay, another way of saying that this lambda 2 is nothing but 1 by 2 times trace of A square minus trace of A square, trace of A square minus trace of A square, otherwise, or you can say trace of adjoint of A. So better we take this one. Otherwise, if you want, you can take this one. Otherwise, take lambda 2 is nothing but trace of adjoint of A, that number. And then what is the lambda 3 is nothing but determinant of the matrix. Okay, this is a characteristic polynomial of any. If you take any 3 by 3 matrix, the characteristic polynomial look like this one. Okay, so even we don't know the elements of the matrix, but it's given that it's characteristic polynomial, we can easily say the determinant and then trace of the matrix. Okay, because the coefficient of x square, the minus of, okay, the minus of x square term is trace, and then the constant term should be determinant of the matrix. So it's very important thing. Now we define what is the eigenvalue or characteristic value. So the roots of, because these are all polynomials, right? Characteristic polynomial is a polynomial. Therefore, we can find the roots of the polynomial. The roots of the polynomial is called, the roots of the characteristic polynomial is called characteristic value or eigenvalue of the matrix. So we define eigenvalue or characteristic value. So next we define eigenvalue. Eigenvalues, or there are so many names are there, eigenvalue or characteristic values or characteristic roots or Laurent values. There are so many names, so usually they will refer either eigenvalues or characteristic value. Okay, so I write here characteristic, so I start from my way. So how we define? So the solutions are roots, the roots of the characteristic polynomial of a matrix, polynomial of a matrix A is called eigenvalue of A, called eigenvalues of the matrix C. Okay, in the previous example, look at the 2 by 2 matrix simply. So here x square minus 6x plus 5 is the characteristic polynomial. Now what are the roots of this polynomial is 2 and it's actually complex root, right? So what is the roots? So otherwise you can use the formula. Okay, this is quadratic polynomial, therefore minus b. So b is minus 6, therefore minus
5 and 1, sir.
Yeah, 1 and 5. So both are positive, right? Therefore, we can factor these into x minus 1, sorry, into x minus 5, right? So therefore, 1 and 5 are roots of this one. Therefore, 1 and 5 are eigenvalues. Eigenvalues of the given matrix E. So therefore, roots of the characteristic polynomial are called eigenvalues of the matrix. So now there is a relation between eigenvalues and then trace and determinant. That's very, very important. Okay. So what is the relation between the eigenvalues and the determinant of the matrix and then trace of the matrix? So that's very important point. You should know. So first we define. So suppose if A is an n by n matrix. Suppose A is an n by n matrix, square matrix, should be square matrix. A being n by n, A be m. Okay, I already write. So I take some color. If A is the square matrix n by n matrix, and so therefore we say we have a nth order polynomial. That polynomial is characteristic polynomial, and any nth order degree polynomial we have n roots, right? Suppose we have lambda 1, lambda 2, etc. Some lambda n are eigenvalues. Maybe it's repeated, but should be n roots are there, because any n degree polynomial you have at most n roots. So that roots are we call lambda 1, lambda 2, etc. lambda n. So these are all roots of the characteristic polynomial of the matrix A, are the eigenvalues. Eigenvalues of A. Then the determinant of the matrix is just the product of the eigenvalues. That is lambda 1 into lambda 2, etc. into lambda n, and the trace is nothing but sum of the eigenvalues. So the trace of the matrix is nothing but sum of the eigenvalues, that is lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus and so on plus lambda n. Very, very important result. So once you know the eigenvalues, we can say the determinant trace. Okay. So suppose a 2 by 2 matrix determinant is given, trace is given, we can easily find the eigenvalues, because if just directly substitute the polynomial, characteristic polynomial, you will easily find the characteristic polynomial. So for example, if you take, suppose I take some example. Okay. Right. Write down. Okay. So suppose we have a matrix, and then suppose A is a 2 by 2 matrix whose determinant is something. Maybe we can say determinant of the 2 by 2 matrix is some 3, and the trace of the matrix is some 2. It is given. Write down the characteristic polynomial. You can easily write. Write down the characteristic polynomial of A. So what is that? So we know that any 2 by 2 matrices, the characteristic polynomial, we know that the is of the form x square minus trace of A x plus determinant of A. So this is a characteristic polynomial of any 2 by 2 matrix. But here given that trace is 2, therefore x square minus 2 times x and then plus determinant is 3. Therefore this is the characteristic polynomial. Suppose otherwise they give the eigenvalues. Suppose lambda 1, lambda 2 are the eigenvalues of 2 by 2 matrix. Then what is the characteristic polynomial? So if you take the sum, you will get the trace. If you take the product of the eigenvalues, you get the determinant. And substitute the values here, you will get a characteristic polynomial 2 by 2 matrix. In general, suppose if you take 3 by 3 matrices and you studied in the school days, the sum of the roots are nothing but the coefficient of the x power n. So usually if you take a polynomial, something q of x nth degree polynomial is a monic polynomial, we write something x power n plus some a n minus 1, x power n minus 1 plus and so on dot dot dot. Suppose you take a naught. So suppose you are taking nth degree polynomial. Now you studied in school days, this a n minus 1 is nothing but sum of the roots. Sum of the roots. Suppose if we take this term, what is this term? A n minus 2 x power n minus 2. So what is the third term? Sum of product of two roots. That is, for example, alpha, beta, beta gamma. Suppose that we have three roots. If we take 3 by 3 third degree polynomial, okay. Suppose if we take, okay, in general, physically take 3 by 3 matrix, third degree polynomial, we can easily understand. So the coefficient of x square is the sum of the roots. The constant term is the product of the roots. So the, for example, x square plus some, sorry, x cube, a2 x square, and then a1x plus constant term. So any third degree polynomial is of the form this one. Now what is the a2 is nothing but sum of the roots of this polynomial, sum of the roots. Suppose we call alpha, beta, gamma are roots of this polynomial. Okay, or suppose we assume that these three are roots. Therefore, this a2 is nothing but alpha plus beta plus gamma. Now, what is this a1 is sum of product of roots, that is alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha. So this is the roots. This is the a1. Now, what is a naught is the product of the roots, that is alpha, beta, gamma. So roots are nothing but in our case is a eigenvalues. So once you know the eigenvalues for a 3 by 3 matrix, we can easily form a characteristic polynomial. Now I will ask the reverse question. If the matrix is given, we can find the characteristic polynomial. Okay. Okay. Before that, maybe I say the important theorem is Cayley-Hamilton theorem. So Cayley-Hamilton theorem says if you take any square matrix is satisfied its characteristic polynomial. It's a very important theorem, powerful theorem. Cayley-Hamilton theorem. So Cayley-Hamilton theorem. So the Cayley-Hamilton theorem says if you take any square matrix, because already we know that any square matrix it has a characteristic polynomial. Okay, if you replace x by that matrix is always satisfied. That means any square matrix. So I can take the statement of the Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Any square matrix satisfied its characteristic polynomial. Its characteristic polynomial. We take any matrix. Suppose if we take A is a n by n matrix, we will get a characteristic polynomial p of x. So for example, p of x may be an plus an minus 1 x power n minus 1 and so on plus a naught. Then if you substitute x equal to a, you will get a matrix equation, that is a power n. You have to multiply a n times and then a n minus 1, a power n minus 1 and so on plus a naught times identity matrix. Then this should be 0. That is a Cayley-Hamilton theorem. So for example, in the previous we take a 2 by 2 matrix. So already we take the matrices. Okay, better we take simple one. Okay. So for checking these, suppose take a 2 by 2 matrix. So suppose example, if we take a okay, better we take some other example. Okay. So example, to check this one, suppose we take, better take 2 by 2 matrix. Suppose we take a equal to some 1 minus 1 0 okay 2 0. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. So what is the characteristic polynomial? We know that the characteristic polynomial p of x is nothing but x square minus trace. Trace is 1 plus 0 is 1 into x plus determinant. So determinant is 1 into 0 0 and then 1 into minus 2 is minus 2. Formula have minus, therefore plus 2. So this is a characteristic polynomial. Now what is p of a is nothing but a square minus a plus 2, but these are all matrix addition subtraction, therefore this should be matrix, but 2 is not a matrix, nothing but 2 times I. Now this is a, what is a square? We have to multiply a 2 times, what will get? So 1 minus 1 0, sorry 2 0, again we have to multiply 1 minus 1 2 0, so what we will get is 1 into 1, 1 into minus 2 is sum is minus 1 here, and this is minus 1, and this 2, and this is minus 2. So a square is this one. Now substitute everything here. What is a square? Minus 1 minus 1 2 minus 2 minus what is a? 1 minus 1 2 0 plus 2 times I means what? You have to multiply 2 each term of the identity matrix, we get this one. Now if you want, you take minus inside, therefore we have to make this is plus, and therefore this is minus, this is plus, this is minus. Now sum everything, you will get 0. So look at the first entry, this is a minus 1 and this is minus 1, therefore minus 2. Here we have plus 2, therefore 0. And this is plus 1 minus 1, and this is plus 1 0, here also 0, therefore 0. And this entry plus 2 minus 2 0, and 0 is there, therefore 0. And this is minus 2 0 plus 2 becomes 0. Therefore this A satisfied its characteristic polynomial. Okay, so therefore if you take any square matrix, A is satisfied its characteristic polynomial. Okay, therefore we can easily no need to find a square. Suppose if you want to find a square, so we know the relation between these. So what is the relation we know? By Taylor theorem, a square minus a plus 2i equal to 0. So you have to keep a square one side and then take everything that side, we get a minus 2i. So directly we have to subtract minus 2 from each term. From a we will get a square. So what is a? So a is nothing but 1 minus 1 2 0. So we have to subtract the diagonal by minus 2. Therefore this is minus 1 and this is actually minus 1. This is 2 and this is minus 2. So that is our a square. So no need to take the product, no need to find a square. So you can directly find it from here. If you take any matrix, so our work will be less to find a square or anything, or even you can find a inverse also. Okay, so how to find a inverse from here? So a square minus a, you can take 2y to that side, we get minus 2y, and from these two we get take a outside, we get a minus identity matrix equal to minus 2y. Now since what is the determinant of the matrix is nothing but a constant term of the characteristic polynomial. Is determinant is non-zero, therefore inverse exists. Now multiply a inverse both the side, therefore we get a minus I equal to minus 2 is constant anyway, a inverse. A inverse times identity a inverse. Therefore a inverse is nothing but minus 1 by 2 times a minus I. So we can easily find the a inverse. So once you know the relations between the powers of A, you will get a inverse or anything. So therefore it's very, very important questions, important things. Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Okay. So any matrix satisfies characteristic polynomial. Now what I am saying that first if given any matrix, we have a polynomial, right? So and then important thing is that, so that means what, this polynomial x square minus x plus a satisfied by a. Therefore a satisfied the second degree polynomial. Is this minimum degree polynomial? Maybe we can find some other degree polynomial, maybe the 1th degree polynomial or something. We get a 0. So that is called the minimal polynomial. A minimal polynomial is the polynomial is satisfied by the matrix A. So, but the characteristic polynomial is any degree of the characteristic polynomial is but order of the matrix. So, if it is n by n matrix, the order of the degree of the characteristic polynomial should be n, but the minimum polynomial is maybe less than n, but and also satisfied by A. Okay, that is called the minimal polynomial of the matrix. So, I can state again what is the minimal polynomial. Minimal means what? Is minimum degree is also satisfied by A. So minimal polynomial. So a polynomial of minimum degree satisfied by A. So we will combine a polynomial of minimum degree, a polynomial of minimum degree or least degree, minimum degree satisfied by a given matrix, satisfied by the matrix is called, such a polynomial is minimum degree polynomial. Sorry, that is minimal polynomial. Minimal polynomial. So that means A satisfies so many polynomials. Okay. And we have to take the minimum degree polynomial, and there should be monic anyway. It should be monic polynomial. Okay. We can write. I can add the extra condition. A monic polynomial should be important. It should be monic. Monic means that the leading coefficient should be 1. A monic polynomial of minimum degree or least degree satisfied by the matrix A is called minimal polynomial. Okay. So for example, if you take, if you want, I'm taking here some example. If you given any matrix, we have a characteristic polynomial. So we take some example. If we take any matrix, suppose I'm writing the characteristic polynomial x square minus 6x plus 9. Suppose I am taking this is the characteristic polynomial matrix. So that means I can take the specific matrix A equal to. So actually, what is this? X minus 3 whole square, right? So therefore, I am taking 3, and 0 somewhere here, something 1 here. Clearly, the characteristic polynomial of this matrix is x square minus trace is 6x, and then the determinant is 9. Okay, it's done. Now, I'm going to anyway by Cayley-Hamilton theorem, A satisfies this means. So A satisfies this polynomial is what? A minus 3i square is 0. That is nothing but the second degree polynomial satisfied by A. Now my question is, can you get any other smallest degree polynomial satisfied by A? Now I take x minus 3. Suppose I am taking x minus 3. This maybe take some q of x or m of x. Better we call usually minimal polynomial, we call the notation m of x. Suppose I am taking the 1 degree polynomial m of x. So m of x equal to x minus 3. Now I am going to check this m of a equal to 0 or not. That is a minus 3i is 0 or not. So what is a minus 3i? So a is nothing but 3103 plus you have to multiply minus inside, therefore minus 3 0 0 identity matrix, right? So if you add these two, all are 0 except one element. Therefore, this is not equal to 0. This is a non-zero polynomial. Therefore, this is not a minimal polynomial. So minimal polynomial, the minimum degree should satisfy by its characteristic polynomial, satisfy the polynomial. Okay, so therefore, what is the minimum? X square, x minus 3 is the minimum. X minus 3 is not satisfied. Therefore, x minus square is the minimal polynomial of this matrix. Therefore, this matrix, both the minimal polynomial and the characteristic polynomials are equal. So for this matrix, the minimal polynomial is this one. Thus, the minimum degree is 2. If you take 1th degree polynomial, is not satisfied by A. Therefore, if you take the second degree polynomial, the only second degree polynomial is x minus 3 whole square. Actually, even you can say the minimal polynomial divides the characteristic polynomial. Minimal polynomial of a matrix divides, this is a notation for divides, characteristic polynomial of a matrix. Okay, it's very important. Sometimes both are equal. Minimal polynomial equal to characteristic polynomial sometimes. Okay. So therefore, given any matrix, we can define two polynomial. One is characteristic polynomial and then minimal polynomial. Okay. Now I'm asking reverse. Suppose I give nth degree polynomial. Can you produce a matrix whose characteristic polynomial is the given matrix? You understand my question? Yeah. Now, so what I'm saying, I can write here. Suppose A is n by n matrix. It is given. So we can associate a polynomial. That polynomial is called characteristic polynomial. Even we can assign one more polynomial, that is called the minimal polynomial. Okay, therefore, given a single matrix, we can produce two polynomial, characteristic polynomial and the minimal polynomial. Now I am asking the converse. Suppose I give one polynomial of degree n. Okay, question is that, what's the question? Suppose sub p of x is a nth degree polynomial, or even if you take a monic polynomial also. Suppose if p of x equal to p of x is a nth degree polynomial is given. If any nth degree polynomial, p of x is any nth degree polynomial. Question: can you find a matrix, n by n matrix? Can you find an n by n matrix A whose characteristic polynomial is this given p, or even if you take minimal polynomials, whose characteristic polynomial of the matrix is the given p of x. This is possible. Or you can take I am going to whose minimal polynomial also given p. Say maybe you can ask the second question. Suppose p of x any nth degree polynomial or anything. So, but this is a standard question. So, if this polynomial is given any nth degree polynomial, can you find a n by n matrix whose characteristic polynomial is the given one? Okay, it's always possible. Okay, suppose we take, I will give the proper one. Suppose we have a matrix. If you take any, suppose we have a polynomial, any polynomial, but should be monic polynomial. So I can write here is any nth degree monic polynomial, should be monic. That is, the leading term should be 1. Okay, now suppose we take the nth degree polynomial. Suppose p of x equal to, it should be monic, right? Therefore, x power n, the coefficient should be 1. And then others are anything. Suppose I am taking a n minus 1, x power n minus 1, plus etc. plus a1 x plus the constant term a0. Constant term may be 0, anything. But the only condition is the leading term should be 1 and the degree should be n. Suppose this polynomial is given. Now we have to construct a matrix A, should be n by n matrix. Be n by n matrix, and the characteristic polynomial of this matrix should be the p of x, should be n by n matrix. And we can, so given any p of x, we can talk about the determinant of a minus xi, that is a characteristic polynomial, and this should be equal to p of x. Then what is that matrix? Okay, so maybe I can write if you take the last column, so I take the negative of each coefficient. So a0, therefore I take minus a0. and then minus a1, etc. up to minus an minus 1. Because totally n terms are there. Because totally n plus 1 in the polynomial, because the leading term is 1. How many constants? An minus 1 is one constant after a1 and then a0. There are n constants, therefore we write n terms minus a0, minus a1, etc. minus an minus 1. So we have to write the negative of the coefficients in the last column. The first row of the remaining n minus 1 terms, we have to take 0. 0, 0, 0, etc. 0 up to n minus 1. Because the nth column is minus a0 prefixed. Now the remaining things is take the identity matrix. So now I give one row, one column. Therefore, how many things we have to repeat? So we have to fill. We have to fill n minus rows are there, and then n minus 1 columns are there. So totally n columns, n rows. I already filled one row, one column. Therefore, remaining n minus 1 row, n minus 1 column, I take that position should be identity matrix. Identity matrix of order n minus 1. That means what? So this is 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, and so on. So finally, I take 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So I take this is the identity matrix. N minus 1 cross n minus 1 identity matrix. Okay. Any doubt? So if you find the characteristic polynomial of this matrix A, you will get this P of x. And not only this characteristic polynomial, even if you find the minimal polynomial of A is also P of x. Okay. So got it. Actually, the name, there is some special name. I think contemporary polynomial or something polynomial something. Please wait, I forgot the polynomial content. Sorry. Given any matrix. Actually, okay, I forgot that name. It's actually the matrix is called content matrix or something. Content of the polynomial, not the content of polynomial. So please wait, I will think. Given a polynomial matrix is polynomial. Okay, anyway, I will tell later. So that is a beautiful name. I forgot the name of the matrix actually. Okay, now, so therefore, given any matrix, any polynomial, you can find a matrix whose characteristic polynomial is the given one. Yeah, okay. So actually, that name of the matrix is companion matrix. Companion. Companion matrix of a polynomial. So companion matrix of the polynomial P of x. Okay, so given any polynomial, we can find given any nth degree monic polynomial, we can find a n by n matrix whose minimal polynomial as well as the characteristic polynomial also P of x. Okay, so therefore, if even you can say, suppose I give one matrix, you can easily say the characteristic polynomial. For example, suppose I give the matrix is of the form this one. You can easily state that the characteristic polynomial and the minimal polynomial. So for example, so sometimes they will ask question like this. So directly they will give a matrix like this. Suppose A equal to the first row is 0, 0, 0. Suppose the matrix is given is actually 5 by 5 matrix. So what is the maybe they will ask what is the determinant or what is the characteristic polynomial or what is the minimal polynomial. Now this is look like here we have identity matrix, right? Therefore, this is a companion matrix of some polynomial. So here we get identity matrix. Okay. And here the first row up to this is 0. Anyway, the constant term is 0. That polynomial may be the constant term is 0. So therefore, what is the corresponding polynomial? We can write P of x. It's a 50-degree polynomial. Therefore, x power 5 should be there. And then here, this is a coefficient of x power n minus 1. There is no x power 4. Therefore, no x power 4. And x, there is no minus here, but therefore you have to put minus 2x cube. And minus, here 5 is there, therefore minus 5 here. Here minus is there, therefore plus 2 times x. What is the constant term? 0. So no need to write 0 now.
Sir, then it will be plus 5x square, no sir?
No. So even what is the term? Everything should be minus. If suppose the p of x contain plus a n minus 1 plus everything plus means you have to multiply minus to each term, and then you got each constant term or all the term you have to put in the column as last column. So if it is minus in the column means, suppose it is given minus, then this should be plus. The polynomial should be plus. The term of the polynomial should be plus. Suppose the term here plus means we have to put minus here. Suppose in the matrix contains minus here, so it's minus 2. Therefore, the polynomial contains plus 2. Sorry, yeah, it should be plus 2. And this should be, oh, sorry, this one. Sorry, not these two. Yeah, I did correct, right? Yeah. This is a constant term. This is a coefficient of x. This is a coefficient of x square. This is a coefficient of x cube. This is a coefficient of x power 4. Yeah, therefore this is minus. Therefore this is plus. This term is plus. Since this is minus plus, therefore this should be minus. And this 2 is plus, therefore should be minus. Okay. Therefore, we can easily, if you look at the matrix, is of the form companion matrix form. Therefore, we can easily write the polynomial. This P of x is a characteristic polynomial as well as the minimal polynomial of this matrix E. Okay, this is a special type of matrices. So maybe sometimes they will ask question from this. Okay, this is a very important thing. Okay. Okay. Anyway, we can stop now. Thank you.